What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new StarCraft video, so let's get into it. So guys, we're going to be talking today about a game that was canceled called StarCraft Ghost. So let's talk about it. So guys, StarCraft Ghost was an unreleased military science fiction stealth action video game previously under development by Blizzard Entertainment. We're going to go through this, guys, and talk about StarCraft Ghost, and then, of course, what certainly could have been a game that could have further expanded on the franchise. Talk about, more recently, the events that happened with a first-person shooter StarCraft game getting canceled as well, and what this could mean for the future of StarCraft. So StarCraft Ghost, guys, was part of Blizzard's StarCraft series. The game was announced on September 20th, 2002 and was to be developed. Several delays in development caused Blizzard to move back the release date, and the game was not yet materialized. Nihilistic Software ceded development to Swingin' Ape Studios in 2004 before Blizzard bought the company, and plans for the GameCube version were canceled in 2005. Blizzard announced in March 2006 that the game was put on indefinite hold while the company investigated 7th generation video game console possibilities. Subsequent public statements from company personnel had been contradictory about whether production was to be renewed or planned story elements worked into other products. The continued delay of Ghost had caused it to be labeled as vaporware, and it was ranked 5th in Wired News' annual Vaporware Awards in 2005. In 2014, Blizzard president Mike Morhaime confirmed that Ghost was officially canceled. Unlike its real-time strategy predecessor, StarCraft Ghost was to be a third-person shooter and intended to give players a closer and more personal view of the StarCraft universe. Following Nova, a Terran psychic espionage called a Ghost, the game would have been set 4 years after the conclusion of StarCraft Brood War and cover a conspiracy about a secretive military project conducted by Nova's superiors in the Imperial Terran Dominion. Very little of the game's storyline has been released. However, in November 2006, after the game's postponement, a novel was published called StarCraft Ghost Nova, which covers the backstory of the central character. And so then, this was a game, guys, that was obviously another first-person shooter game that was supposed to be, that was being developed, it was actively being worked on, and then all of a sudden was canceled for reasons that really we don't know at this point. But we're going to talk about that cancellation that ended up happening here very shortly. And then, of course, the more recently canceled first-person shooter from Blizzard that was going to be a StarCraft game. It's really sad to see that two StarCraft first-person shooter games, or just really two StarCraft games, were canceled in the span of this, in the span of time here. On September 20th, 2002, Blizzard Entertainment announced the development of StarCraft Ghost in conjunction with fellow video game company Nihilistic Software. Nihilistic aimed to release the game for the Xbox, PlayStation 2, and Nintendo GameCube video game consoles in late 2003, which elicited positive reactions from the press. The game was consistently delayed, and during the third quarter of 2004, Nihilistic discontinued their work on the project. Blizzard stated that Nihilistic had completed the task it had been contracted for, and the game would be delivered on time. In July 2004, Blizzard Entertainment began collaboration with Swingin' Ape Studios to work on the game and bought the company in May of 2005. Despite anticipation for the game by industry journalists, Ghost was delayed again, and its release date was pushed back to September 2005. At Electronic Entertainment Expo 2005, Ghost was officially re-announced, but the GameCube version was canceled by Swingin' Ape Studios due to the platform's lack of online support. The game's release was again delayed until 2006. Despite the efforts of Swingin' Ape, Ghost failed to materialize as scheduled, and in March 2006, Blizzard Entertainment announced an indefinite postponement on development of Ghost while the company explored new options with the emerging 7th generation of video game consoles. Despite its long development history, IGN noted that the concept of Ghost still held promise. Although the game's development was suspended, Keith R.A. DeCandido's novel StarCraft Ghost Nova was published several months later in November 2006. Complementing Nihilistic's and Swingin' Ape Studios' work on the game, Blizzard's cinematics team, originally formed to develop StarCraft's cutscenes, created the cutscenes for Ghost's single-player campaign, which are integral to the game's storyline. The team, which originally consisted of 6 people, grew to 25 and used newer hardware, software, and cinematics techniques to create higher-quality cutstones than those featured in StarCraft and Brood War. The game's trailer, composed of the cinematics team's work, was released in August 2005. Since Ghost production halted, Blizzard Entertainment has sporadically released information about the title. The game's protagonist Nova shows up in one campaign mission of StarCraft II Wings of Liberty, in which players are given the option to side with her or fight against her forces. She also features in StarCraft II Are the Swarm, as well her own campaign in StarCraft II Nova Covert Ops. Metzen further stated that he believed Ghost had an excellent storyline that may be told in future novels following from DiCandido's Nova. In 2007, Rob Pardo, one of the lead developers at Blizzard Entertainment, indicated that there still was interest in finishing Ghost. Later in an interview, Pardo stated that Blizzard had been stubborn in preserving with Ghost, but they were not able to execute the game at the level we wanted to. Blizzard's president Mike Morhaime and Pardo gave a presentation on the company's history at the DICE Summit in February 2008. During the presentation, they listed games canceled by Blizzard, which did not include Ghost. When questioned about this, Blizzard's co-founder Frank Pierce explained that the title was never technically canceled and that it was not in the company's focus at the time due to a finite amount of development resources. Morhaime later elaborated that it was the sudden success of World of Warcraft and the concurrent development of StarCraft II that consumed Blizzard's resources, leading to Ghost being put on hold. Despite Blizzard's announcements, many of the video game industry's journalists now list Ghost as canceled and consider it vaporware. The game was ranked 5th in the 2005 edition of Wire News' annual Vaporware Awards. On September 23, 2014, in an interview with Polygon about the cancellation of Blizzard's next-generation MMO Titan, Mike Morhaime confirmed that StarCraft Ghost was also canceled. Morhaime said, "It was hard when we canceled Warcraft Adventures. It was hard when we canceled StarCraft Ghost, but it has always resulted in better quality work." In a July 2016 Polygon article, it was suggested that when the game's production halted, the main reasons it was shelved were because the game worked on the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, but it was scheduled to be released in 2005 when the Xbox 360 was about to be released, and it would take a lot of resources to move from the previous console generation to the current generation, as well as Blizzard having a lot of success with its then recently released PC-only game, World of Warcraft. So guys, what could this mean for the future of StarCraft? So obviously, guys, this happened a long time ago, but the reason why I'm bringing this video up now is because I've never talked on the channel about StarCraft Ghost. So StarCraft Ghost, guys, first-person shooter game that would have come out a long time ago, right? Before that of StarCraft 2. And now we more recently got a StarCraft first-person shooter, which has not even been revealed as what the name of that first-person shooter was going to be. That got canceled as well to work on Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2, according to sources. But what this could mean, guys, is a little bit of some positivity here, guys, or at least an outlook that is obviously going to be positive. So StarCraft Ghost got canceled. Well, what came out after StarCraft Ghost? Well, StarCraft 2. And then we, of course, got Wings of Liberty, Heart of the Swarm, and Legacy of the Void. Another StarCraft first-person shooter was revealed to being developed on, and then that canceled. Well, what could be happening right now behind the scenes? StarCraft 3. There's a high possibility that StarCraft 3 could be the project that's being worked on now behind the scenes that is maybe taking up more of Blizzard's time, kind of like what happened with StarCraft Ghost, and then, of course, with StarCraft 2. Now, obviously, we're never going to know these things until, maybe at BlizzCon or some other time later in the future, because I'm sure they're going to be asked about StarCraft, the first-person shooter game that just recently got canceled. That's definitely going to be something that comes up in a topic of discussion at BlizzCon 2019, I would definitely assume. So I do think, guys, that StarCraft 3 could be the next project that's being worked on, maybe because the resources from StarCraft, the first-person shooter game that got canceled this year, very well maybe those people are moving and working on StarCraft 3. Maybe they are working on Diablo 4 as well as Overwatch 2, but maybe they're also working on a StarCraft 3. We're not going to know until, maybe BlizzCon of this year, maybe even later into next year. It's hard to say, guys, but there's a little bit of some positivity here. It is really unfortunate because I would have loved to see a StarCraft Ghost or just a StarCraft first-person shooter game. I think it would have really expanded on the lore and expanded on the overall franchise as a whole. But I definitely want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that they might be working on StarCraft 3 now that a second StarCraft first-person shooter game got canceled? I'd love to hear you guys' thoughts on this. And what do you guys think? Do you think that StarCraft Ghost would have been a really good game? Do you think that it would have not really helped the franchise much? Do you think it would have split the community a lot? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Subscribe for new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.